Hi, this is Greg from St. Croix Bee. We're here to show you how to hive a package today. Prior to hiving it, you would want to get all of your products, your equipment ready so that the day the bees arrive, you can have everything ready and it's a smooth operation. I would start by buying a 24-inch square patio block, and I would take and level it side to side, and then I would have the front so that the water will drain out of your hive a little bit lower than the back. I have done so with a couple of hives here this morning. So I would start by placing a hive stand on top of the brick so that that would be the sacrificial wood and you wouldn't get the moisture in your wood. Then I would place a bottom board on top of that. I would take a hive body with 5 of the frames removed so that we can place the bees in the hive. You take your entrance reducer and you put that in the front on the small hole until the bees have enough room to protect the hive. Once you've got your entrance reducer in the entrance of the hive, grab yourself a bunch of dead grass and just plug that entrance so the bees will kind of be locked in there for the first day. Eventually they will push that out. It doesn't have to be terribly tight, just enough to hold them for a little while. Your bees would want to be in a warmer environment. Today is about 45 degrees. I have left them in the vehicle to keep them warm. I have also kept the frames that I'm going to put the bees on in the vehicle so that they will stay warm. You have your choice of 2 colors. Yellow is natural. Black will help you see the eggs and larvae. I personally like black, but we're going to hive packages on both today. One of the first things you would then want to do, just in case your bees got upset, is you would want to have a smoker lit. They're pretty docile when you're hiving the package. This is some cotton smoker fuel. You put that in your smoker, and then you're going to want to light it. And let that sit and smoke and smolder for a few minutes. And we'll set that aside while that is burning. So then we have one of our packages of bees. And we need our hive tool. If you look on the can, that can in there is what they're feeding on as they're in transit from California or Georgia, wherever your bees are actually coming from. This is actually a 2-pound package. I sell 2-pound and 3-pound packages. So then we come over to our hive, trying to keep our package fairly warm by having it in the car. We set it, knock the bees down. If it was a little bit warmer, I would use sugar water to spray the bees, but it's about 45 degrees today, and I don't want to chill the bees. You get the can of corn syrup out. You'll have a few bees flying. And you pull the queen out and make sure that she's alive. And she happens to be alive. To keep her warm, you would then want to stick her in your pocket And all we're going to do is dump the bees into the hive. So now we have a whole pile of bees in the bottom of the hive. We're going to want to get the warm frames from the car. So there's two ways to hive your queen. The first way I'm going to show you is direct releasing her. When I do it, there's a cork in the end. I found that that's a little bit hard to get out. Instead of pulling the cork, I will pull the staple from the screen, and I will hold the screen so she does not leave the cage. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put her down in the hive, open up the cage, and she will walk out. Now you have installed your first package. Carefully, you will start putting in the frames. You're going to run 10 frames in your first hive until they get to be about 80% filled. Try and keep them really tight so they don't make funny things. You will then want to take a pollen patty. That kind of looks like a vegetarian hamburger. And I like to cut it in half and place it towards the center. Okay, we've put the pollen patties on. That is the protein for the bees to feed on and start raising their brood. We made sure that we did not put the pollen patties where the hole is in the inner cover. Then we have a feeder pail. You can use 1-to-1 sugar and water, or you can use corn syrup. I've used corn syrup today. You take your pail, you fill it full, you turn it over outside of the hive, and it's going to leak a little bit. Once the vacuum is created and it stops leaking, you put this over the hive, and that's what feeds your bees in the beginning prior to the nectars and pollens coming out. We'll take an empty box, and it doesn't matter if it's a deep or a shallow. And then we'll take our lid and we will cover the hive. That is your first hive that we have packaged today. So the bees that are flying will follow the pheromone of the queen, and they will make their way back into the hive. There's no problems with that. Give it a half an hour and you won't see a bee out here because it's cool enough. But they've been moved from one house to another at this point, and they're interested in what's going on.